Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to move one step ahead in our functionality to import users. Okay, as we have seen, we were already able to import users if the CSV is correct, and if the CSV has some errors, we were displaying those errors as well. So this was what we have done so far, which is these are the errors, the 3 rows, and these are the 2 rows which are correct. And so today we are going to create a new table, a temporary table where we will store these two informations. And then the idea is to allow the user to click and say, I want to um, import the users which are correct. And also he can download a CSV of all the user or all the rows in the CSV which are not passing the validations. So to start off, I have to create a migration file, which I have already done. So this is the command php artisan make migration create temp import table. Okay, my uh, table name is temp underscore import underscore tbl, and also we are going to import this um, package which is Laravel dash uuid. uh, in this particular migration file we are going to add that as a table. So let's see, I'll create that file. Oh, it will not allow me. Let me see if I do a dump auto load. Okay, fine. So as I told you, I have already written the code before I'm making the video, so some of the files are already there, so I had to do a dump auto load. Anyways, so let's see the migration. But as you can see, I already have that in my database. So this is how the data will be. I when I tried, this is some of the information which I had. But the structure is basically I have a uuid table, a user id table, data, which right now is the text. I'm using MariaDB, and I think the version is old, so I am not able to create a JSON table. So I am storing that information, a PHP array, as a serialized data. You can, and I would prefer, use the JSON format if you have the latest version. Anyway, so let's quickly create our migration. Okay, so we need the ID, and then we need uuid. We will name this column as uuid. Then we will have the unsigned integer user underscore id, and last one is data. Okay, this is where we are going to store the serialized data, but I would suggest you, or I will rather recommend you, use a JSON, which will be better. Okay, so that's it. And I will just close this file. And now, because we have this, we'll need to create a model as well. So let me copy this, and in here I'll create a model, and the name of the model will be temp table. So temp table PHP file. Okay, and namespace is app. All right, now the two things which we need to define is protected dollar table. Okay, because this is not the convention, but I would want a very different kind of a naming convention for these temp tables. So I am explicitly defining the table name here, and protected dollar guarded is an empty, so I can mass assign anything. Okay, so yeah, that's it. And then the next thing is we need to run sorry, where is my sublime? We need to run this composer require web pastor Laravel uuid. Now I already have that, so I won't run that command, but as you can see I have this. But you need to do that, and once you have that the only configuration which we need to do is in app.php inside config. We'll need to add that facade and in the aliases thing. So where is php storm? I'll upload and add it here. Okay, this is my aliases array, and this is the last entry there, and I think that's about it as far as this thing goes. This is how we can generate a UUID. So let's see, what do we want to do? This is where we are getting the data, right? So let's go to our controller. In here we are getting the error rows and valid rows. Instead, what we would like to do is, if we go to our database, we will like the UUID of that particular row, so that when I click on it, I'll be able to download the CSV file. Okay, so let's see. Let us refactor this. We will call this get error row ID, and for this as well, I'll do get valid row ID. Okay, and we will name this as error row underscore ID. Same here. Okay, valid row and error row. Okay, so this is done. Now we need to refactor these, right? So let's first take this. We have this thing in here. Okay, so rather we will first need two variables, okay, as public. So we'll do this public error row ID and public $valid row ID. I think I can do it protected, not I won't be accessing it outside, so protected is fine for now. Let's see. And once that is done, so we have get error row ID. Where is that? Get error row ID, right? In here, previously we were returning the array after doing a case sort. So instead of that, what now we will do is $row is equal to temp table create, and in the array we'll do UUID will be equal to UUID generate, sorry, and let us import the class. Okay, and then user ID, which will be auth user ID. Okay, and data is going to be serialize this error rows. Okay, so now we have the row. What we will do is $this error row ID will be equal to $row UUID, and we need a string method on that because it returns an object, and that we have a string property which actually gives us the UUID. Okay, so once that is done, we will return the row UUID string. Okay, and then the next function which we need to change is get valid rows, right? This was our error rows, and get valid row. In this we need to change the functions as well. So this is error rows. We'll need to change that. Why don't we do it this way? So error rows is going to be equal to temp table create. Okay, and that oh, I'm sorry, this is wrong. So this is where I need to find the data. So I need the error rows. So temp table where UUID will be equal to this um, error row ID. Okay, and then first, so this is a set of error rows, but we haven't got the data as of yet. So dollar error rows is equal to unserialize error rows data. We don't need this anymore. So that's how we will get the error rows, and we were previously returning the valid users, right? But we need to save that. So dollar row equals temp table create UUID will be equal to, where is it? Let's just take this, and this, and then here we will paste this. For data we will be doing valid users. Okay, and with that done, now we will be sending return dollar row UUID. Okay, so I'll rather return the string as we have done in this function. Where is it? Like this. Okay, so we have these two things. We have the temp table. So what have we done so far? We have introduced these two things, these two protected variables, valid row ID and error row ID, and then we are using the error row ID here, and I was supposed to use the valid user ID somewhere. I think I'm still not using it anywhere. Just quickly do a check. Yeah, anyway, so let's move on, and if we don't need it we will remove that. I think we should need that when we are calling it. Let's see. So once that is done, why don't we in here flash these two out inside here. This is where we are getting the valid row ID, right? So that will be valid row ID, and I will print it here. We need to get rid of this box, and this is the error ID, sorry, and this is the, well, what is happening? Okay, so if this is present, then we will print error ID, error row ID. Okay, so we have the create, and now we will be printing these variables from session because we are setting them in our controller. So error row ID is giving us the UUID, and same as for the valid row ID, and both are saving the appropriate data. Okay, so let's try that. Hit refresh and upload that file. Okay, so we have two UUIDs. The first one should be the error. Let's see, and that will be the first entry, A2. Okay, this is the error. The correct one is printed at the top. So yeah, we have these two. If you see, John Doe Gmail is the error one because that is an already existing email ID. So we have these two datas in our database table, and the next step will be basically I'll be creating two buttons which says do you want to download the error CSV file, and do you want to import the correct users. But yeah, that's how we have moved one step ahead on importing the data in the table. And my idea is basically on an everyday cron, I'll be checking all the records which are more than 24 hours old, and I will clean it up. So basically this is a flash data, so once the user refreshes this page, he will not be able to click on that button again. And that's what I want to continue right now. I don't want to keep it in a session and then maintain all those things. But if he clicks right now, he will be able to download the CSVs and import the users. Otherwise he will lose it, like this, if I hit refresh, and he will have to do that again. So that's okay, not a big deal. But yeah, we have moved ahead, and in the next chapter we are actually going to work on downloading the CSV and importing the users. So that's about it, guys. If you like the videos, do click on the thumbs up icon, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.